Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. Going for a face shave now. I've just finished my head shave and I used the Karve with the F plate, 1.23mm of blade gap, and it was a really smooth, very efficient shave. However, I did end up with some irritation, a few weepers in the back of my head, and first time using the razor, I just probably gave it a little bit too much oomph when it wasn't really required, so next shave should hopefully go a little bit better. That being said, the setup for my face shave is going to be pretty much the exact same other than the plate on the razor. So the shaving soap for today is Fougere from West Coast Shaving. The soap itself is formulated and created by Vida over at Oleo Soapworks, but this is West Coast Shaving's essentially branded soap. So the soap looks like that. It is quite firm. It does have a really nice scent. Scent strength sits around about 4 to 5. It is very similar in scent note or scent style to Face Fat Green Fougere. I do believe there might be a little bit of wintergreen in the soap, I'm not sure, my nose is not the best, but I had a great shave with it. So the brush for today is going to be, once again, the Karve Shaving Custom, and on the bottom here, you can see on there it says Karve Shaving, no it doesn't, it says Karve Canada. Now it's got a 20mm Super Badger. Now I didn't realise what the hair was yesterday on the shave, but Super Badger, from what I read, is pretty much your best of the best silver tip hairs removed from, what they do is they remove all the shitty little hairs, snapped hairs, bent hairs, hairs that are too thick, and they then take all the good hairs and put them in one knot, and that becomes a Super Badger, which essentially means it's probably the most premium quality knot you can get really with silver tip hairs, but only the best of the best fibres make it to the knot. Now this is a very nice knot. It does have ever so slight amount of scritch, which I'm surprised about given how soft it feels, but I'm going to see if I can beat it into submission over the next few shaves. So here we go, straight into the silk. We'll get a good load into this little knot. It's only a 20mm knot as well, which I can only imagine is just to sort of keep costs down on having a premium quality knot on your brush. Super Badger isn't a term I see bandied around. See what I did there? Bandied around too often. But it does look like a 3-band. I don't know whether Super Badgers come in 3-band or whether they're normally 2-band, I really don't know, but by all accounts it's a very nice little knot, and it does create a really nice lather. It struggled on my head shave to sort of hold enough lather to do 2 passes, but I got through my full head shave in pretty much the first pass with the Karve, and a very quick clean up with the head blade, which is pretty much my go-to way of shaving my head these days. Now, I just want to give a shout out to Flash Bodum, who I watched his shave last night, and he was obviously saying about me not commenting on videos and stuff like that. I know he wasn't having a dig, I know you're not having a dig, but I just get so busy sometimes. I do watch people's stuff. Look at this stuff peeking out the tub already. I do watch pretty much all the shaves, believe it or not. Now, there's another guy that I'm watching that Flash Bodum actually mentioned yesterday, shooting the shave. Really nice guy, and he does a good review of products. Look at that. Whew. So if you want to check out Shooting the Shave, really nice guy. And Flash Bodum did actually say something on his channel. I've mentioned it on my head shave as well. It just cracked me up. I was laughing last night in the dark. I had a movie on in the background, and I was just watching the video, but I had it down so low that what I did was I turned on closed captions. And what it does is it just basically follows what's being said in the video and tries to put the right words in subtitles. And he actually says at one point, I think he's either talking about a brush or a razor or a soap. I think it's a soap actually. I think it was I can't remember. And he said, I bought this off a guy. And I'm pretty sure, I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I'm pretty sure it came up with the subtitles as Portus Esophagi. The fuck knows what that is. But I'll pop the screenshot up now. I just found it fucking hilarious. The wife even woke up and gave me a swift elbow in the ribs to tell me to shut up. So it's quite funny. Doesn't taste good, that's for sure. Right, here we go, let's paint this load on. Now, Oleo Soapworks do make an extremely high quality soap. The base is excellent. Now this is obviously duck fat, so it's not a vegetal offering. But all the Central West Coast shaving either come in duck fat shaving soap, or you can get them in Katie's Bubbles Luxury Shaving Cream, which is vegetal based. Now I'm expecting an extremely high quality lather here. I'm just dipping the tips as I go. I find with badger hairbrushes, my lathering technique that I use for my synthetics doesn't work quite as well. Why that is, I have no idea. You can see this shaving soap is just building up beautifully. It's dense, it's creamy, it's glossy. Very, very nice. So here we go. I've got the Karve razor and I've got the double A plate, AA plate, the Alcoholics Anonymous plate. So I'm going to see how this feels. Now, I used the F plate yesterday and it was a sensational shave, no weepers, no cuts, no real irritation to be spoken of. This one is the exact, or the extreme opposite end. So from 1.23mm blade gap down to 0.44 blade gap, I think this one is. So as you can see there is not a whole heap of blade gap in this one. In fact, there's next to none. The blade alignment, however, is spot on. The blade angle as it's sitting there is completely straight with the safety bar. It's just so well built, these razors. So let's see how this feels in such a mild setting. I've got the Gillette spoiler in here, and I think it's the seventh shave, 6th or 7th. Now I can say straight away, that it's very, very smooth still. It's as smooth as a C plate, F plate, you name it, it's smooth. But it's maybe just a little bit too mild for me. Very, very mild. Now, take it into comparison of the Rockwell 6C. Setting 1 in the Rockwell 6C, which this is equivalent to, I suppose, the lowest setting. The Rockwell 6C setting 1 is unusable for me. It's just so mild that you don't even feel the blade. Now I will say this hasn't taken the hair down anywhere near as close as the C plate on that first pass, so hopefully over the next 2 passes we'll get the results. Do you know what I've done? I used alum on my head and I must have taken it down onto the sides of my cheek here, and I've just wiped onto my face and it's totally eradicated all the residual slickness from the soap. Right, lather number 2 is done. Across the grain now with 3.5 inch double A plate Karve. Now, if I had to give you a comparison of what this razor feels like in terms of mildness, it feels very, very similar to the MJ90 from Razor Rock. With the original plate. Extremely mild. I have to say it's not getting the close shave that I get from the C plate so far. I'm nearly there, not a million miles away. Yeah, I've got that slickness now, that residual slickness is there now. Just obviously needs to get rid of some of that excess alum. Still a little bit of funk in the brush. But not too much. Right, here we go, across the grain other direction. You'll have to excuse the fact that I'm topless today. I could not be arsed seeking a shirt. So. It's just not, that's close, it's a close shave, but under here it's not anywhere near as close as the C plate and definitely not as close as the F plate. is it a good enough shave? I'd say so, definitely. Definitely a nice shave if you like really mild razors. Another little hair there, digging it. Yep, there we go. That'll do. This is the sort of plate that you would give to your kids for the first ever shaves. Extremely mild, next to no chance of really causing any real damage. But for seasoned users, people that are using them every day, I think it's just too mild. Right. At the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, it's a quality razor, no matter what plate you put on it. In my opinion, you're always going to get a good shave, or a great shave, or in my case, very, very often, exceptional shave. Better than anything else I've ever had before from cartridges or any other safety razor. It's just obviously finding the plate that works spot on for you. The AA is just far too mild for me, but it's not a million miles away from where I like it. There we go, I'll rinse the soap out. I've got a couple of little weakers. I feel like I've actually got a little bit of irritation on my face, and I think that's probably because that razor feels so mild, you give it a bit more. You buff over the same areas, just maybe a bit too much. It's certainly be interesting to see how much better the soap lathers up with a synthetic brush. Obviously I'm not really too great with badger brushes, or natural hair brushes, but I am getting better, and I will use this one for a little bit just to see how it sort of progresses. Right, so I'm going to finish off now with some Maol Grooming Heliopteris Frosted with menthol. Now the scent on this is beautiful. 1, 2, 3 splashes for the head. And 3 splashes for the face. Oh, oh, such a good scent. It really is. And here comes the menthol. Bring it on. Oh. It's almost got a beautiful sort of, there's definitely a bit of citrus going on in there, and there's floral, there's a bit of woodsy. It's very bright, it's a very bright Fougere. It is not, obviously being called Heliopteris Sun Fougere, sun's very bright. I'm assuming that's where it came along with the name for it. But it's a very, very bright scented Fougere. Just wakes you up, and then the menthol just feels incredible. What a shave. West Coast Shaving Fougere duck fat formula from Oleo Soapworks. It's a great soap, it smells great, performs great. Does it perform a million times better or any better than face fat? I don't think it does. I think it's probably in a similar sort of vein as face fat. Just based on that shave alone, it's not as good as some of the other soaps that I've got in the den, but it is a very high quality soap. I'm not shooting it down, it's so difficult to pick between soaps at the moment because they're so high quality. From Lather Bros to Ariana and Evans to Holy Cow, Sterling, Barrister and Mann, you know, you name it, it's there. We've got Tallow and Steel. All those soaps are high quality soaps. They've all got very slight variations in how they work and what works best for you. Slickness is my key thing, residual slickness. So if it's got residual slickness, it does a good job. That's what I look for. This definitely has it. I'm not disagreeing with it whatsoever. I just think it's a little bit better on the market just now. But once I lather this with a synthetic brush, I'll get a better idea of how good it is. And the brush for today was the beautiful Karve razor, hand-turned wood, maple, all stained. As you can see, it's very difficult to see because it's so dark in here. Let me see if I put this light on. See if I can really brighten that up a bit. So like that, you can sort of see it a little bit better with the light on. I think just the actual colour scheme that's in there. It's a sort of dark red, brown, sort of maple colour, and then the black through it as well. Really nice. You've got the Karve logo on the bottom, as I've showed you before, and a little 20mm super badger knot, which seems to be getting better with each use. I've used it 3 times now for shaves, and I've low-handed it a few times to try and get the scent out of it, and it's definitely getting there. Still got a bit of funk, but it will go. I should really buy some soap from Stray Whisker or something to get rid of it. Then we've got the Karve razor. I've got the double A plate on here, which you can see, well, hopefully you might be able to see it, just down in this corner here. And it's got the 3.5 inch Argyle handle, which is a different, if you've got a Karve razor, you'll see that the knurling on this is quite different to the knurling on the Karves that you can buy. And as far as I'm aware, there's 4 of these handles in the world. That's it, he made 4 and that is all there is. So I'm absolutely chuffed to bits to have one in the den. I'm really over the moon with it. And like I say, it's just a great razor. Next plate will be A plate for my face shave, and we'll see how the A plate feels in comparison to this very mild double A plate. But it's still a great shave. No matter how I look at it, it's a great shave. Finished off today with Maol Grooming Heliopteris frosted with menthol, and the menthol is still ice cold on my face and my head right now. It's absolutely stunning, and the scent is beautiful, absolutely beautiful scent. So other than that, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.